today I have the liberty and the pleasure of saying that Raj Shamani, Sunil Chhetri, and your boy have something in common. Let's welcome Prathamesh.
So I somewhat call myself like a failed footballer slash full-time barber.
So you cut your hair for Jayesh.
Yeah.
And there was this some part where I think Ozil liked one of your pictures. Yeah.
I've cut hair for Bhaichung Bhutia, Renedy Singh, Robin Singh. Of course, I've even cut hair for Lucio, the Brazilian international Inter Milan legend.
Tell us the range of how much maybe Chhetri Bhai would be spending on his haircut or maybe grooming. Maybe about 5K, 10K. Raj Shamani began his podcast with Sunil Chhetri, stating that they had something in common. And today I have the liberty and the pleasure of saying that Raj Shamani, Sunil Chhetri, and your boy have something in common. Let's welcome Prathamesh, aka known as the Hair Monster. Prathamesh, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for
And thank you
inviting
for
me.
being all in on this podcast. So Prathamesh is very much into the grooming scene, very much recognized as the Indian football grooming partner as well. He's also been a barber himself.
Yeah.
And, he runs this, I would say, shop, which is called Nomad Barber.
Yep.
And Prathamesh, if you could very quickly, tell us about yourself, right? Before we begin, we have a few things that we want to establish, today, before we start. One is, we try to understand what the sports industry looks like for a barber.
Yep.
Number one, if someone is not aware of this industry, that a sports barber can really go big, can really travel with teams, can really, get player haircuts and stuff like that. Is this really a thing? Does it really happen out there? Are there many like you? How much is the skin in the game? Right.
Yeah.
We'll also try and look at the fun parts of it. You've been with, Sunil Chhetri, Bhaichung Bhutia, two captains of the Indian national football team. So get into their heads and all of these things that we want to try and establish. Before that, if you can give us a little bit of your introduction.
Oof. So my name is Prathamesh Sawant. I've been doing hair for the last 13 to 15 years now.
Wow.
I started as young as 17. I'm 33 now.
And an
Sounds
Arsenal fan
old.
also.
Massive Arsenal fan all my life. My journey with hairdressing started very early on when I was in 7th grade. My dad owned a barber shop. That's how I got into hairdressing right after my 10th grade. And since then I've been doing hair, and most recently I'm also co-owner of Nomad Barber Mumbai.
Correct.
It's basically an international grooming brand based out of UK. We have stores in London, Berlin, and the third one being Mumbai. That's with my partner Miguel. So that's where we are at right now. I've been an educator, a jury barber for the last as many years. Somewhat a celebrity barber considering the people I've worked with.
Yes.
Football has always been the special thing to my heart as well. So I used to play football back in school, college, and somewhat for a club, and then eventually that the dream fizzled out from being a professional footballer to being a barber to the footballers. So I somewhat call myself like a failed footballer slash full-time barber.
Nice.
So yeah, that's about a small introduction.
What has that transition been? So if someone had to take up this profession, right, like getting into barber, you may not, you wouldn't get to your head that you can be a sports barber, right? So how did you make the transition into sport and then getting recognized in the Indian football scene?
To be honest, to me, because the love of sport, football itself was so dear to me. That always kept me engaged with the sport somehow. It wasn't intended in a certain way that I want to specifically do this, but that's how my journey towards doing celebrity hair started, right? ISL season 2, that's when was the first time I got
Correct.
my first opportunity to work the footballers.
Right.
I still remember the first day was Jayesh Rane playing for Chennai FC. Back then, he called me up asking if I would come see him at the hotel. I had just months before that cut hair for Jayesh at the shop.
So he had just come to your shop. You didn't know him personally.
Not personally, no. So I knew him through another footballer.
Yeah.
That's how he reached out to me, and he came pre-season of the season 2 to the shop, got a haircut. And during the season when Chennai FC was playing away, Mumbai City FC, That's when he asked if I would come to the hotel and cut his hair. That was day one back in 2014 or 15. And the first day when I did a haircut for Jayesh Rani, it was also the day when I cut 11 other players. So yeah, like the day one was a massive
Like an
one.
entire team.
Yeah, it was funny enough. Mumbai City FC and Chennai FC was staying at the same hotel. So when we cut hair for Jayesh and we went for lunch at the restaurant, all the other players ended up seeing his hair, and they were like, who cut your hair? And this was the very famous Ozil haircut as well.
Yeah, I was coming to that, the Ozil story.
Yeah. So yeah, the other players asked, who cut your hair, and I was right there. So they asked me if I would cut their hair as well, and yeah, thus began the journey of Indian football. One player I didn't expect on the day one to be cutting hair was also Sunil Chhetri. So yeah.
So first day, you also cut hair for
Yeah,
Chhetri Bhai.
Chhetri Bhai was on the day one, which was absolutely unexpected.
Before we move to Chhetri Bhai, just about the Mesut Ozil bit, right? So you cut your hair for Jayesh.
Yeah.
And there was this some part where I think, Ozil liked one of your pictures.
Yeah,
And so
twice.
Give us that. Give us that.
I can't remember what season this was. Probably the 2015 season when Ozil got a fresh haircut. There was a surgical part going around the back of his head. I remember at my shop, we were just looking for inspirations one of the
He
days.
was still at Arsenal then, right?
He was at Arsenal. And we ended up doing the same haircut what Ozil had on one of my clients. Posted a picture, like in a grid next to Ozil's and uploaded. Went off to sleep for an afternoon nap, woke up to see there were like close to 1,000 likes on that picture.
And this was in what year?
Yeah, probably 14, 15.
When I think Instagram likes and all weren't even like...
Yeah, I think people could still see activity, right? Like who liked what post. And that's how people figured that Ozil liked my post. And there were comments from all over the world saying that, oh, congratulations, Ozil liked your post. I was quite confused. I'm like, I'm not sure. When I went through the list of likes, yeah, there was Mesut Ozil. Then a few weeks after, I think we did similar haircut on Jayesh's hair. Uploaded a video of that. Again, Ozil liked it. So I believe that wasn't no coincidence, when he was looking at that picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. That was like a shot to fame of sort, Since then, I've been waiting for a call from Ozil himself someday, calling me to get a haircut. So, it was that.
Maybe soon.
Hopefully.
If you had to name a few players from ISL that you've cut hair for, just to give our audience a reference so they can connect with you.
Yep. I think over the period of almost 8-10 years now, I've cut hair for most clubs in the country. So when national team happened, of course, I had players who played across the entire league.
Right.
Of course, starting from Sunil Chhetri himself. I've cut hair for Bhaichung Bhutia, Randy Singh, Robin Singh. Of course, I've even cut hair for Lucio, the Brazilian international Inter Milan legend.
Correct.
While ISL happened. JJ, Pranay Haldar, there is Preetham Kotal, Subrato Paul. It's actually a much exhaustive list. Jayesh Rani, of course, Ashutosh Mehta, a lot of foreign players, domestic players, ISL, I-League, League 2, probably. So yeah, I've covered it all. I think national team was, of course, the pinnacle of my football, Indian football career of sort. So yeah, I think I can't, of course, not name Gurpreet Singh, Sandhu, Amrinder Singh, and a whole host of them. Yeah,
I think 1 year you were also associated with Mumbai City FC as their official barber.
So it was more media recognized, right? I'm a Mumbai boy myself. Mumbai City FC, of course, is my home city club. And I've been working with Mumbai City FC for most part of my career. That's because it's a home club as well. Away teams, whenever they were in the city, is when I would take care of the boys.
Would your boys allow you to go and give a haircut to the away team?
I mean, I've also been somewhat part of the West Coast Brigade as like a fan. So I do get a bit of hate as such. Sometimes when I'm sitting in the away stand because I have a player who plays for the away team as well. I mean, I'm an Indian football fan overall. So, well, it's been tough that way. I'm, of course, also a Sunil Chhetri fan. So there have been times when Bangalore has played Mumbai City FC. I've ended up sitting with a Chhetri jersey on, and it's not gone down well. So yeah.
So were you traveling with the team when you were with Mumbai City? Like how was it phased? Did you feel like you're part of the team that season? You know, because what happens normally is when you're with the players, when
Yeah.
you're part of a team, you also get to understand a little bit of strategies. You know what
Yeah.
the players are going through, that
Yeah.
mental stress if
Yeah.
they're not winning, if they're losing.
Of course.
What was that season like?
I think with the players, yes, I have had the privilege of even traveling once, um, right after the cutting the hair and stuff, and I had to go watch the game. I ended up traveling with the team, of
Yeah.
course, not on the team bus, but an alternate transport,
Hmm.
which got me to go to the VIP section along watching the game along with the players as well.
Yeah.
So I've somehow found myself quite close to the players. So I think professionally second, but it's always been a relationship which has gone beyond it.
Hmm.
Found myself very lucky that I've even flown out
Yeah.
to different cities, taking care of Chhetri by
Hmm.
for a special occasion, I would say.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the relationship does go just beyond me being a barber to them.
Yeah.
And I've seen pretty much up and close, the preparations for the matches, for tournaments, after game, like joy and sometimes sorrows as well,
Yeah.
but it's part of the sport, right? I
Yeah.
think they are as human as
As-
anyone else is. So
Definitely.
yeah, we've been through the roller coaster of emotions
Yeah.
with them.
If we now move one step further and we look at the two legends of Indian football,
Yeah.
Bhaichung Bhutia has
Yeah.
been the captain of Indian football.
Yeah.
Sunil Chhetri been
Yeah.
the captain of Indian football. You've got a chance to cut, style, groom the two of them. I think you're still associated with
Yeah.
Sunil Bhai, right?
Yeah.
Help us get into their heads. Like we've seen them on the field. There's passion, there's aggression, there's strategy while they're
Yeah.
playing. Off the field, they'll be different individuals.
Right.
So if I had to ask you about Sunil Chhetri,
Yeah.
when he calls you, maybe for a haircut, or how is that like? What is the warmth in there, and how is the relationship now brewing?
I think it's surprising because he's a legend, right? He's a national legend.
Yes.
Clearly, one of the best Asian footballers as well. So, surprising enough to me, it's always been a very friendly relationship with him. Chhetri Bhai would always message me, asking how I am and asking if I'm available for a certain day when he's around the city or he wants me to come in and see him. So it's a very warm, friendly relationship, which is not subjected only to professional
Makes sense.
approach.
Yeah.
So he's one of the kindest human, if I may say, I've come across, and not just limited to me. I've seen and been around him, see interacting with other people, on set or even with the players and everything. Of course, he's one of the most senior figures of the game, but the way he puts himself out there, it's incredible. That's why people see him as a legend, and clearly he's one.
What was that first encounter with him? Like, how did you go up to him and be like, okay, I'm gonna, this is my time, this is my moment?
To be honest, it wasn't even prepared for. I still remember the first time when I cut hair for Jayesh. We were like, okay, this is probably a start to getting to a whole host of top footballers.
Correct.
Never in my mind I thought on the day one I would be seeing Sunil Chhetri. I still remember asking one of the players if
Was he the captain then? When
Mumbai City FC, I think it was still
not the national.
national. Yeah.
Then also.
Yeah.
So this was after Bhaichung.
Yeah, this is so I've not old enough to
Yeah.
see Bhaichung Bhai
Yeah.
play actively. Of course, I've seen him play friendlies and stuff, but not like competitive
Fair.
football. But yeah, Chhetri Bhai was the captain back then, and this was Mumbai City FC for ISL, and this is still between two different leagues while he was still playing for Bangalore and then playing ISL
Yeah.
Mumbai City FC, and I asked one of the players if he was at the hotel.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, let me just call him and check. And he literally calls him in front of me asking him, there's this guy who's cutting hair, would you want to get a haircut of him? And 5 minutes later, Chhetri Bhai is in the room. I was not prepared for that moment, right? And funny enough, all the other players at that moment decided to go for dinner.
Okay.
So it was just me and Chhetri Bhai in that room.
Alone.
It was super awkward at first because, yeah, I didn't see that day in my life at that point of time, right?
Yeah.
Like to see myself with Chhetri bhai. I always said to myself, if I ever see him, I'll have a list of questions, prepared in my head
Yeah.
to engage and
Correct.
converse with him. But
Correct.
it was very easy.
Hmm.
He made it very comfortable for me. He asked me, how I knew Jayesh and how I started cutting and a whole host of things. And yeah, it went down very, very easy. And I think 2 weeks after, I remember he calling me directly on my phone. And I couldn't believe it because I was like, yeah, in no way that could be him, because
Yeah.
how would he know me or how would he have my number? It turns out he got my number of one of the players, and he asked me if I would come to the hotel and see him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's basically how it started. And
Then the relationship.
yeah, it's been close to 8-10 years of
Wow.
doing that now.
Massive.
So yeah, even still, most recently, every time there's a shoot or something happening, he would call me and I would take care of his hair even now.
Does he really improvise on his style? I think we've seen him on a very similar look almost throughout.
Yeah, I think Chhetri bhai is probably one of the most low maintenance guys on the football circuit, right?
Yeah.
Like he likes his hair more simple, easy. He's not fussy at all. That's how he would put it himself. And yeah, there've been moments like when we've done hair for Euros and World Cup.
Yeah.
That's
Recently
when,
also, yeah.
yeah, most recently as well. That's when there would be a little more on the stylish front versus more practical front, where he likes during the season it would be more easy to wear. Don't want to spend too much time.
Yeah.
Versus on studio and camera, you want it to be more groomed, well groomed, of sort as well. So other than that, he lets me decide, but he just likes it simple.
Yeah.
I think yeah, he's not one to try outrageous styles. Even though yeah, COVID did somewhere let him experiment having a top knot, which was a
Once
good
in a
change
lifetime.
once in a lifetime.
So just to dive deeper on that point, right? He's someone who doesn't improvise a lot. There are different players who try different styles
Yeah.
before game day.
Yeah.
Do you think is there a direct correlation with the player's haircut and his performance?
I've honestly strongly felt about the fact that how a player's psychology does revolve around about how he feels, well groomed, fit, all of it put together.
Yeah.
Grooming definitely is so. Grooming definitely comes very up there, right?
Yeah.
With how they feel about themselves, and I've seen players asking and wanting fresh haircuts right before games because it makes them feel much more prepared and confident about themselves.
Right.
And yeah, I think psychologically you'll see this across the entire sport fraternity, right? Most of the players would like to get a fresh haircut. Of course, there are some of them who might not want one on the game day, but there are some who definitely want to be as fresh as possible stepping out on the pitch as well. So player psychology and grooming definitely has a lot to do with each other.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons I find myself at team hotels and cutting hair right before a training session, right before a game day as well, literally hours from kick off sometimes. So yeah, I think it does affect me.
Just to come back to the Mumbai City FC, but as a team, right? Because you're a fan of football, you support Arsenal. You're also a fan of European football for that matter, and in Indian football now. Do you think there would ever be a time where Mumbai City FC would be able to play like Arsenal?
I hope so, to be honest, right? I mean, of course, you're talking about Premier League, which dates back like hundreds of years now, right?
Yeah.
Like close. It's Mumbai City playing in Indian Super League, which is still relatively a fresher tournament, you could say, which is what 10th, 11th season now.
Yeah, like a new decade that
Yeah,
began.
just about a new decade. So we've definitely seen change from day one of season one of ISL versus what we see now. The quality of football definitely has improved with a lot more experience, a lot more Indian footballers who've gotten more chances to play outside of the country and come back and bring that same level of football to the country. I definitely see it going an upward trajectory. We have a long way to go, of course, because the question always stays like, when are we playing the World Cup, right? I think the answer to that could be fairly soon.
Yeah.
it's struggling in terms of a lot of other aspects which are beyond the fans itself or the players itself.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to keep working hard, and someday we'll see Mumbai City FC equivalent to what an Arsenal could be. Yeah.
Chhetri Bhai on Raj Shamani's podcast had mentioned this, that why would someone not watch Indian football and watch the Premier League is because of the quality. On a given day, if you have better quality, you would choose that. Right? It's been about say 10 to 12 years now that we are looking at ISL, Indian football trying to grow. From what you've seen, close up, being with the players, stadium, infrastructure, where do you think this will change, or what do you think has to change for Indian football to grow?
I think over the years we've seen the numbers, get to a certain point, right? Like the stadium attendances back in the day versus today. Just considering Kerala Blasters FC, like doing 60,000 people at the stadium, it's a humongous change. Yeah, it's as big as what United sees at their stadium, right? Like Old Trafford sees 60,000 people as well.
Yeah.
So it's from a fan base, from where it grew from and what it is today, it definitely has grown. From a footballing quality perspective, I think grassroots play like a massive role. And that's something we've seen grow over the years. And now it's happening on club to club level, right? Like every other club has their grassroots level programs. I feel it's still far from where we need it to be. Infrastructure supporting the same as well has to grow. It's an overall improvement what Indian football requires to get to that level. Footballing nation, we've had a really rich history of Indian football over the years, but then I think other sports have taken quite a bit of attention out of Indian football as well. So somewhere I've grown up watching the likes of Arsenal, Premier League. Well, I'm a French football fan as well. So we've seen very high quality football. So it's harder for us to get acquainted with the idea of watching Indian football because it's not the same. Right? Like clearly it's not the same. Even the players attest to it. But there is improvement, and I think as a nation we need to be supportive of our local football, our national football, for us to even get there. I remember Chhetri Bhai once saying that athletes are only celebrated, once they get to a certain point of achievement.
In India,
right?
specifically.
Yeah, India specifically. While you need to be supporting them from their journeys, right? That's how they will eventually get to the top. With that support as well. So I think, we have a bunch of things we should be working on as a country, the facilities, the infrastructure, the grassroots, and we will get to a really top level of football for sure.
Do you also think apart from just infra, and the quality of players, maybe at the looks of it, most stadiums, looking at a beautiful stadium, looking at more green grass, like good, turf, like you normally call it, maybe that would also help because people want to see that as well. When they look at broadcast, for example, when you look at it on TV, you want to see that same grass that you get in a Premier League or a La Liga or a Champions League. Do you think that would make a difference somewhere down the line?
I think stadium infrastructures, right? I think since India hosted the Under-17 World Cup, which also clearly attested the fact that we are capable of, hosting a world level tournament, right? Clearly the biggest out there. It also was only subjected to a bunch of those cities and the host cities with those stadiums which improve. We would definitely have to work harder to make sure those facilities are furthered out, and you'll have more and more local stadiums and all of those sorts as well improve quality. Right? That's when I think training facilities, if you see the number of stadiums or training grounds you have back in Europe versus like India, it's nowhere close to comparison. I think there have been a lot of debates online as well, how if you want football to improve, like in India, you're going to have to support them with the right things as well, right? Like there are not enough coaches, not enough training facilities, the standards are not up to the mark, is why overall we struggle as well. So all of that needs to definitely improve.
Let's just go to the grooming side of it now. Like you've been in the scene for a long time. You spoke about how it could relate to a player's performance overall, like looking good, looking fit. But how important is grooming for an athlete? Like,
Hmm.
we've seen a lot of players who don't necessarily pay a lot of heed to the grooming aspect of it.
Yeah.
Still may do well, still may not do well.
Hmm.
But you coming from that field, how important do you think it is for an athlete in general? Grooming.
I think grooming from a personal hygiene point as well as wellness, right?
Hmm.
It plays a massive important role. Especially you're talking about an athlete who's always out on fields, training, conditions, sweat, a lot of aspects, right?
Yeah.
So making sure your hair health, your scalp health
Hmm.
stays clean is utmost important,
Fair.
which involves routines like regularly shampooing, conditioning,
Yeah.
taking care of your hair in terms of trimming it regularly,
Hmm.
styling it, as and when.
Yeah.
And it plays a important part in their own personalities as well, right? Like
Correct.
overall, today a lot of athletes are faces for top brands and stuff.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a package of not just um, like personal grooming per se, but then as a brand, how they are looked at as
Yeah.
well. So yeah.
Would you, because you mentioned brands, right? My next question to you would be, uh, does a haircut or having good hair
Hmm.
also get you like good brand deals in terms of that? Obviously, if you're a well celebrated player, you
Yeah.
get a lot of brands coming to you.
True.
That's another aspect of the game
True.
altogether. But just maybe like a brand who deals in the grooming space,
Yeah.
or something of that sort, would be more inclined to see someone who has a sharp look, good haircut, good
100%.
styling.
I think rather in the recent past, we've seen someone like a Paul Pogba
Hmm.
doing a deal with Pepsi,
Yeah.
where he had the hashtag equal game
Right.
sported on his head, right? Like,
Yeah.
literally per
Yeah.
se. So clearly, a brand like a Pepsi is looking at Paul Pogba
Yeah.
with considering how experimental he is with his hair, right?
Interesting.
So straight up, I mean, hair definitely does play a part in how brands see a certain athlete to be endorsing them. Overall, of course, they got to look sharp, they got to look presentable.
Yeah.
It's a style statement. Players have even gone on to as much do a specific style for a specific brand on a certain
Yeah.
campaign
Yeah.
per se. So I think it plays a massive role that way to
Hmm.
bring them brand deals and making brands interested and attracting them towards endorsing their brands as well.
Yeah, and what are some of the player hairstyles that you've seen over the years? Do you think it's different from sport to sport? Like, I just randomly went out on the net and I was like craziest hairstyles.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of football players,
Of course.
which made me think, why isn't it the same in cricket, right? Where maybe you have players experiment in the NBA,
Yeah.
because you have
Yeah.
some of them who still like that style. Is it because it's the gentleman's game? People don't think about cricket that way. When you look at F1, not many there
Yeah.
as well. So why football sits right on top when it comes to more experimenting?
I think footballers have always been using hair as one of their um, one of the ways they can express themselves as well, right? Clearly, the most experimental styles of football over the years you've seen have always been footballers,
Right.
because they've gone really wild with their hair as well.
Yeah.
As I may say, right? Like they've been. It's not the same with other sports as much. Footballers naturally, for the longest time in the history we've known, has been the benchmark of great inspirations from hairstyles.
Correct.
Right from Ronaldo back in the day having the crazy haircut, the Brazilian Ronaldo, of course, to
Right.
now, yeah, like Cristiano Ronaldo or David Beckham, Neymar. There've been so many players who've always used their hair as a way of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
If you've seen the trend in cricket circuit as well over the years, in the recent past again, you've started seeing that culture shift.
Right.
You have had players who've been a tad more been on the stylish side of hairstyles.
Yeah. Start off
where-
with MS with that long hair,
Yeah.
and then maybe like a Hardik now, or
course. Of course, I mean that also has a lot to do with how their faces have become, the faces of the brands.
Correct.
They've gotten more brand deals,
Fair.
endorsements, which puts them out there, which
Right.
expects them to be well groomed, experimental, differently looking and stuff as well. So it's not only limited to on a personal basis. Sometimes it's, it's part of who they are today. They are not just athletes; they are like celebrities, and they are being inspirations to, like, millions of people who look upon themselves. Like when Messi decided to go blonde with his hair.
Stuck to it.
So many people who ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there've been Ronaldo with his, hairstyles and his hair tattoos he's done, which has set inspirations to million people who then copied it and went on to sport it.
Are there any superstitions that players have normally? Okay, if I'm going before this game, I'm gonna do this, or this is what I need, like, or use this scissor, or use this comb.
Nothing extremely specifically.
Right.
A lot of them would like, to be groomed, fresh and closer to the game. There have been players fairly recently. I worked with someone from Mumbai City FC, Nico. Right, like Nico, I asked him, like, do you generally like your haircuts more fresher, or his perspective was like on the day of the match day or the day before, he would like to focus more on the game and the preparation to the game, and something like, getting a haircut would be maybe 2 days, 3 days before, so that he can then
focus
just fully 100% focus on that. Whereas someone like a Robin, Robin has always been someone who would get haircuts as close, as fresh, because it plays a humongous part of how he feels and confident about the game itself. So there have been changes. Superstitious, I think, that's funny because I remember this one year, this was still I-League, Bangalore FC, Chhetri Bhai coming to Mumbai, and his head was buzzed, right? And he shared this thing that every season, right, there have been times when Chhetri Bhai has gone through maybe a couple of games not scoring, and knowing a player of his level, he's someone who's always needs to be on the score sheet, right? He has to be, I mean, one of the highest goal scorers in the world. Clearly someone who has a knack for it. When he doesn't, he's found himself a lot of times just, shaving his head off. It's just one of the things, and he's gone on to score right after as well. So there might be not a proper superstition, but it's a pattern what he's sometimes followed, like of doing it, and it's just not very specific, but yeah, players have had that sometimes.
You've been with so many players. As to what their hair routine is. You have a few recommendations yourself. If there is someone watching you who's probably a player, an athlete, someone who's very young, who's aspires to be a professional athlete someday, what is like a 3 or 5 step process that they should follow in their daily life just to maintain good hair health?
I think the most simplest form of routine for anyone, in general, even with athletes as well, right, has to be making sure your scalp health and your hair health stays clean, because you spend so much time on the field. It tends to get dirty, mud, all sorts of bacteria growth can happen. I think shampooing, making sure hair is clean, using the right products, conditioning, making sure the hair health is great. Treatments every now and then, making sure you're taking deep nourishment treatments of your hair, and in general styling, right? Like just proper choice of products and using them in the right ways goes like a long way. It's quite simple. It's hectic because they go through a lot of changes in terms of water, in terms of conditions, in terms of just general weathers, right? Like from the hottest place to the coldest place to the all sorts of possible climate changes they can. So they have to be more careful in terms of how they deal with their own day-to-day grooming, because that goes a long way.
Correct. Yeah, makes sense. Does like because you mentioned about sweat and stuff like that. Cricketers specifically, right? They have this misconception that overuse of helmet maybe leads to hair fall, right? Because they are the ones who play in the sun. Is that is there any meat in that?
Helmets, right, in general, even a sport helmet or a bike helmet.
Could be both, but currently because a lot of cricketers have this question that sometimes they tend to wear also like a bandana inside or a cloth.
That's basically the solution to it, right? Any sort of friction between your hair and a helmet or a headgear tends to in a certain way
Yeah.
lead to hair loss.
Okay.
So in order to avoid that, of course, something like a bandana, something like a balaclava inside your headgear,
Yeah.
it does take part of that friction out,
Mm.
and that's what can let you have lesser hair loss as such. So 100%, there are definitely ways that you can avoid that hair loss. It's part of the sport. You have to wear a helmet, but there are ways to kind of mitigate it as well. So yeah, wearing a softer lined layer between your helmet and the head, that helps
more.
100%.
What's one of the most challenging haircuts that you've done? Maybe when someone has asked you for this, and you're like, okay, I'll have to give it some time or think, or this looks a little difficult, kind of.
I think challenging was very early 2015 season 2 again. Mumbai City FC. We had a player, Gabriel Fernandez, and Gabriel on that day decided he wanted to be more adventurous. He wanted a letter G, right? Like hair tattooed on the side of his head, and yeah, that was quite interesting of an ask, and I thought that was an interesting trim to do. Like for Gabriel in the season then.
And is there a pressure of getting it right? Like when you're with big guys like Sunil Chhetri, Bhaichung Bhutia, and now you've also moved to presenters, commentators as well.
Yeah.
Is there that pressure ki, okay, I have to get everything perfect?
100%. I think the higher you go, there's more pressure, right? Because there's more eyeballs on that specific athlete, presenter, or a host who you're working on.
Yeah.
So making sure your work is 100% has always been part of it, right?
Yeah.
If you're not, I mean, then it could go sideways as well, right? Like you can't mess up on a massive personality.
I'm sure you have some tricks up your sleeve as well.
I think
Agar kuch ho gaya, I'm okay. I'll still cover up.
I don't think so. There's no room for making mistakes in this game, man. I think especially when we work with such precision based haircuts, shorter haircuts, the chances of you messing up are much higher. Like I rather find myself, pointing out those mistakes when I've not done that hair myself on someone else's head. It's quite easy. So I take it upon myself to making sure I always deliver 100% haircut. So yeah. You can't mess with that.
Let's also move to the business side of it, right? Talk us through Nomad. What is Nomad exactly? How did you guys establish this?
Yeah.
And also the business side of being like a sports barber.
Right. So specifically, Nomad Barber Mumbai, the store we opened last year in October. It's a British-based men's grooming brand, which is also an experiential barbering space.
Right.
My partner Miguel, the brand started off as a web series on YouTube where Miguel was traveling around the world exploring barbering history and culture.
Yeah.
Miguel has been around 52 plus countries. So all of the cultures of barbering histories, which has been collated over the years, documented in a YouTube series, has also been put into the experiences that we offer at the shop. Right. The brand also has a product line, which also is inspired from different parts of the world. The scents, the product itself, the inspirations, they've all been put together from around the world. Nomad Barber Mumbai is very unique in itself because today, men's grooming is seen an upward trajectory, but we still fail the bare minimum fundamentals when it comes to men's grooming. Right? We've taken that leap and we've tried to introduce something further than just basic, grooming in India.
Like an experience.
100%. Every service basically at Nomad Barber Mumbai is an experience base. So you're not technically only coming for a haircut, you're coming for an experience or a shave or all the other services that we provide.
Right.
The brand has also evolved in a way where now men are educated enough about it and they want to experience these services.
Correct.
We've seen an elevation in terms of patterns of grooming over the last 1 year what we've established, and we only see it growing so far.
You were also called, or still are called, the style bhai of Indian football, the Aleem Hakim of Indian football. So when you look at these players like Aleem Hakim, who are celebrity stylists, you're moving into the sports style of scenes. How do you manage this kind of competition that is there sometimes?
I think I've never looked at is it as a competition as a matter, right? Because the reason why I worked with the footballers predominantly is because my love for the game, right? I found myself being a fan of a certain athlete over the years, and now suddenly I'm good friends with them. I'm in the houses cutting hair for them. Like it's a relationship which is beyond just a barber to a footballer.
Right.
And looking at it from a competitive way, it's not, because I still continue to do what I do, right? We've grown over the years only because purely based off work, right?
Right.
Like there's no other ulterior motive
Yeah.
apart from the fact that the players like what I do is why they call me, and
Right.
I take care of them. In terms of sports grooming, right? It's because the industry's changed so much, players have become much more aware. I think there are much more better opportunities now
Yeah.
for a lot of barbers out there who can be serving to so many aspects of athletes on different levels, right?
Right.
It's not just football anymore. We've very recently, of course, cricket has been the top, but then you have games like Pro Kabaddi, which has grown about,
Yeah.
games like uh, table tennis,
Yeah.
which I worked with as well. We've had the basketball league, which is coming about as well.
Correct.
So there are more opportunities out there where there might be more athletes who would be interested and inclined towards, who might not have the same resource
Correct.
as today what players of ISL has. So there are definitely more chances for other people also to join the gang.
So when someone looks at this space, right, in terms of how much can they make a month, how much can they make a year? If you can give us some range, just for people who maybe aspire to get into this field, who are thinking that maybe this is something that we want to start.
Yeah.
Look at sports specifically. So if you can give us a range, maybe annual turnover, or maybe like a monthly.
I think, to be honest, looking at this, it's always been on a personal level, right? Like depends on how hard you want to work. It's as simple as that, right?
Correct.
Like how many haircuts do you want to commit in a certain day?
Right.
I mean, when I started off, I was doing, say, 12, 15, 20 haircuts a day, versus over a period of a decade, I don't do them anymore. There's physical capability and limitations which come in as well. Specifically now that I move more towards the entrepreneurial side of things,
Correct.
I want to use my time more in the operations of a business and running the business itself, not being the business itself.
Right.
For someone who's starting off, you can very easily start off from a decent 10, 15, 20 haircuts a day, ranging, the haircuts could range anywhere between 500, 700, 800,000 rupees, depending what part of the country you are, what part of the city you are, what level of quality of service you're providing. And I mean, there's no limit, right? I mean, most recently, Alim has gone on and said that he charges 1 lakh rupees for a haircut. So clearly there's inspiration out there,
Right.
which you can attain to that level of professionalism, where you'll be paying, you'll be charging people as high as you want. It purely depends on what you provide as a service.
Correct. And would you have any advice for young barbers who getting into this field, who looking at a Prathamesh Sawant and saying that maybe I also want to get into this field and cut for footballers, cut for cricketers, what
I
would
think
be your advice?
it's funny because I never saw myself to be one of those guys who people would look up to. I've always had my inspirations who I would look up to and be like, I want to become someone like that. I've had the privilege where there have been people who've reached out and have asked me, how can I become as good as you, or how can I become as great as what you do, or work with the kind of players you do. And there was no secret, to be honest, right? It's purely hard work. Starting from the age I have started over the years, there have never been like a shortcut to this success. It's only been hard work and consistency. There is zero replacement for doing that. You could be talented, but if you don't put in the hard work, I don't think you can get anywhere, really. So working with celebrities per se, I think there's no shortcut to it, but then you've got to do your work. You've got to give your 100%, put your work out there, reach out to people, if you need to, asking them for opportunities to, give your skill
Yeah.
a chance. And yeah, maybe that could work.
And if someone's working under you, how much do you think can they make? Maybe like an intern, or just starting off.
I think you can start off something as decent as 25 to 30,000 as well, going all the way up to a salary of ₹1 lakh plus as well. Today in the hair industry, hairdressers are paid as highly as that as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right. It purely depends on what level of salon you're working at, or what level of work you yourself are at.
Yeah.
It can start off low, of course, because there still is a lack of standard per se, especially in the men's grooming aspect, right? Especially in the barbering aspect. We've kept saying this a lot. We want to be the ones who establish the standard, create the gold standard for barbers in the country, and definitely elevate the game for barbers and the respect for barbers in general as well. So that number can go a lot higher for sure.
Do you have an idea of how much a Premier League player would spend on his haircut? Anything of that sort? Some insights.
You know, the host Micah Richards.
Yeah, Micah Richards.
He's gone on to say that he was paying like 600 to 700 pounds a week.
Correct.
For his haircut, which is kind of crazy because it roughly translates to 60,000-70,000 rupees.
Indian rupees.
Yeah, like a haircut. So I mean, it can be anything. I've known that players have to pay like an upward of 300 pounds to 500 pounds, a haircut. And that happens every 10 days or 2 weeks tops. So yeah, it can go as high as that.
So when it comes to Indian, the Indian sports circuit, I've been asked that, because I'm doing this podcast with you, just try and mention this question to him, that tell us the range of how much maybe Chhetri Bhai would be spending on his haircut, or maybe grooming, maybe above 5K, 10K.
I think putting down the number is difficult, because there are occasions where you would, especially now that Chhetri Bhai does more frequent adverts and more commercials, right? Like he needs to be groomed and on point all the time as well. Like if you're not going to be on screen, sometimes you let go your hair to grow in a bit as well.
Yeah.
Right. Putting a number down will be difficult, because there are a lot of aspects to this spend itself, right? Because a lot of times you're doing shoots which production houses are taking care of and stuff. So it's a constant involvement of grooming than just doing a haircut today or tomorrow as such. So
and maybe if we had to put a price tag on the luxury part of it, like, luxury grooming, luxury haircut, what do you think currently is that range in India, where if any player's getting a haircut, does he look at a, like you said, a Premier League footballer like Micah Richards would be spending a 60K. Would an Indian footballer be spending at least somewhere between 5 to 10, 15, maybe lesser? Have we as a country, have we as players evolved there? Have we gone?
I think not yet, right? Because it kind of has a lot to do with how much of value that is to you, right?
Correct.
If your haircut makes you look good and it pays you, is the reason why you will spend enough money on getting that haircut to look good, right? If it's a straight correlation to it.
Perfect.
Right? If you're getting paid, say, ₹1 lakh, for an advert, you're probably gonna spend a portion of that into your grooming itself.
Correct.
Right. But if you're not getting paid that number today, then you might not be looking to invest more on your grooming itself, right?
Correct.
It's a personal preference as well. It's not necessary that every other person who's rich tends to spend a lot more. I mean, that's something we've established very clearly even with our business, that even though our business creates an experience, it might not be for everyone, right? It's clearly a personal preference, but mostly someone who sees themselves in front of a camera, where the looks are involved. They definitely are someone who would spend a little more than usual,
right?
Because they recognize, the effort that goes in and why they need to be doing that. Right. I mean, getting a not so good haircut could also cost them an advert or a commercial, right? So they can't be risking it. So like between a 5 to 10,000 is like a fair amount you can expect.
Correct.
There are different aspects of sessions as well.
Definitely.
A lot of times we have a lot of our clientele which comes into the shop where the charges of the shop are a certain specific number, while whenever we do a VIP session going out into studio, into their homes, or it's quite different.
Correct.
Right?
Definitely.
Because it's not only subjected to you're not only paying for a haircut anymore,
Yeah.
because you're paying for the entire experience of a mobile barber coming to you, bringing that VIP service to you.
True.
That number drastically changes, and I think rightly so, because you're not only paying for the haircut anymore, you're
Definitely.
paying for a lot of
Experience again.
aspects,
Yeah.
a lot of aspects of it.
Also the time and effort. A lot of things come into play.
It's a convenience, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are fair enough happy to pay that, because their time definitely costs a lot more money than
Definitely.
what the haircut would,
Yeah.
for that matter.
Would you say this is a profitable business? If someone's getting into it, after how long can they expect, profits, or, kind of break even maybe, or shouldn't rush into it maybe?
I think, especially doing business again, this is coming from an entrepreneur, right? Like opening a barber shop in Mumbai, in the heart of the city. You've been to the shop, you've seen the kind of shop we've built, right? It can be a lot of ways, right? It can purely be profitable from day one. It can be profitable after 2 years, 5 years as well. It depends on how you approach the business. I have always been someone who strongly believes in sustainability and long term, versus someone who would be rushing into making a quick buck, right from day one. So most of our clients, I've had clients over the years of 10 to 15 years who are working since day one till even now. That's only purely because of the quality of work we offer, and there's no compromise on that ever. Right. Even with the experiences, right? All the services are more longer, they are time bound, and we make sure that we always cater to that. Versus there are other salons which might not be looking for the same. There's a lot of places where they consider quantity over quality, and that's fair enough. I think some people take that approach and they want to make money quicker. It's different. We are definitely always been in it for the long game. Right? There'd be no other reason why we're still out there and doing what we do, and we have the loyalty of so many people supporting us on our journey. So that answer could differ, majorly. I mean, you could be successful from day one. Also, what you end up doing as a barber, right? You have the option of either freelancing, you have the job, either the option of working as a job, or you could just be owning a shop itself.
Correct.
So
multiple ways. Depends on which pathway you pick.
True. I mean, I've seen myself being an entrepreneur from day one because my dad always had the shop. So, and I like that part of the business.
And also depends on what vision you have, I think.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. I mean, I see myself lesser of a freelancer, right? Because my time is now more important than just, being behind the chair. It can, add up a lot more to a lot other people as well, right? I mean, we educate today, so I want my time to be used for more things than just being behind the chair.
Correct.
So yeah, that answer would be different.
If I also had to ask you from a business standpoint, right? If you switch the sport, say we do cricket, say you do cricket, do you think there'll be like maybe a better revenue model, better revenue flowing if you indulge with cricketers? I think you've also cut for.
I've cut for Shreyas Iyer. This is very early on, back in 2017 and stuff. And I would say yes. The answer would be a straight yes. Right. It clearly has a lot to do with the income slabs itself, right?
Definitely.
Like today, what an IPL player is paying, is making versus what an ISL player makes. Just the sheer difference in someone making that kind of money reflects on how much their paying capacity and their spending capacity is, right? Yeah. And I would say yes, straight off. It is.
So someday, if in case Virat Kohli walks in, or like an MS Dhoni walks in, obviously Virat has gone with a fade most of the time. You've seen a little mohawk with him. MS goes, obviously the long hair was something that really killed it for a lot of people. I think until last season in the IPL, we all thought that maybe he'd still grow that, and then he had a haircut now.
Right.
But if Virat or an MS walked into your shop, and just imagine you had to give them a new look, a fresh look, what would be playing in your mind?
Oh, I mean, they've gone and experimented quite a bit, right? I think there's nothing in specific. I feel there'll be an input from both ends. It'll be definitely what they are feeling on that given day. A lot of time it changes, right? It's not up to me. I don't always decide on what I would do on a certain person. But I think with Dhoni, especially now, I would mellow down on the styles, right? Like I think somewhere sometimes it feels a little more apt to give him haircuts which are more senior figure like.
Correct.
Of course, doesn't translate to old, but then yeah, at the same time, he can't be looking like a 15-year-old or 17-year-old today. So yeah, my approach to Dhoni would be a lot different. To Virat, I mean, yeah, he's definitely someone I would love to work with someday.
Experiment maybe.
Experiment maybe, but from what I've seen, right, he's always been open to it.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of different styles, which
True.
covers a lot of aspects of things you can do with hair in
Correct.
general. So it'll be tricky with him, but definitely one I would look forward to working with someday.
Hopefully, very soon. We just go to a quick fire questions that I have for you. It could be ISL or any of the league sport. Who's the most low maintenance when it comes to haircuts?
I think Chhetri Bhai, right? Because no frills, just plain and simple short haircuts.
Yeah.
Premier League, I think N'Golo Kante, the shaved head can't be lower maintenance than that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Who's the most experimental?
Paul Pogba, for sure.
Definitely,
I think we've seen a whole host of hairstyles Pogba's done over the years.
Yeah. If you could give any player a new look, who would it be and why?
Today it would be Erling Haaland. He's had that long hair for for a very long time, I think.
Do you also think it gives him that confidence and the boost to he likes that look?
He probably does. I mean, clearly he's had it for such a
long time,
such a while now. But it's time to let go, Erling. I think it's time for a chop.
And what look would you suggest?
I mean, something more younger as well, right? He's a young player.
Correct.
The top long hair is getting a bit boring now.
Most outrageous haircut that you've been asked to do or you've seen somewhere?
I think David Beckham with his mohawk during the World Cup, he came, with this the fine mohawk he had. That was crazy to watch.
Yeah. If you could give any player a completely new look, we've done that. Give me haircut style predictions for 2025. I think every year we have a few haircuts that work.
Yeah.
The fade that's there in
Of
the
course.
scene. There's a buzz cut sometimes that comes in. Man bun maybe, I don't know. But for 2025, what do you think? What are your predictions?
I think we're still in the hangover of doing a lot of modern mullets, right? Like mullet is still quite fresh in the country. You'll see a lot of most athletes, to be honest, at this point have it. We've seen India in general just picking up on trends a little slower than the Western world. So you'll still see a lot of modern mullets, burst fades and just the combinations of that. We've also switched over to doing a lot of mid-length haircuts, which are more low maintenance. People have started liking to grow out their hair, just not put a lot of effort and look effortless, but
Correct.
still be like quite stylish as well. So
I
I
just
think,
wake up in the morning and you don't have to.
yeah, I think just the sheer fact that people are somewhere wanting to do away with fades and just have like more natural looking hair as well. So yeah.
Give me your dream fade 5 or a dream bun 5.
Fade 5, right? I think straight up Cristiano Ronaldo right at the top.
Yeah.
Neymar has one of the best fades.
Nice.
Karim Benzema, I think I really rate it high. Vinicius Junior, I find his hairstyles quite experimental and fresh. Robin Singh, right up there.
Yeah.
Of course, one of my boys has to be there.
I recently saw Robin posted something, and that was exceptional. The fade was proper, bang on, and I think he's got that look going well for him as well.
He's always been known. He's been known as the Cristiano Ronaldo of Indian football for a reason. He takes his hair very seriously.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we have the buns as well, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think man buns, of course, Ibrahimovic, Zlatan has had like the iconic, bun. Erling Haaland has, for the longest time, the bun itself. Gareth Bale has a really good bun. Who else?
That was
Sergio Ramos, of course, has had that hairstyle also. I think in Indian football, Sandesh Jingan has to have a mention.
Can't miss.
You know, that long hair, the top knot is iconic.
Give me a particular player or style you think has set a trend or set a standard when it comes to sports grooming.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo, man. I think hands down he's the most groomed athlete out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people take inspiration from Ronaldo for his style and just in general, um, you know, how he carries himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Ronaldo has had the most impact, and people follow that the most.
I have like a few images for you. Let's just see as to if you can get these iconic hairstyles right. Yeah. Let's go with the first one.
Oh, that's Ronaldo, Portugal World Cup. Is that Sergio Ramos?
Yeah, that's nice.
All right.
Neat.
And oof, Santos FC, Neymar.
Nice. It's very old actually. Yeah.
Oh, this one. Is that a basketball?
Yeah, it is basketball. I was just going to give you a clue that it's
Dennis Rodman.
perfect. Bingo.
Oh man, yeah. Oh wow, this is a tough one, man.
I also found it very unique. A clue that I can give you, he's played for Barcelona.
Barcelona. Vidal?
No. He is a defender though.
Dani Alves?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That was one I didn't. I mean, this is hands down David Beckham all day.
Nice.
Wow, this. I think this is a transfer we didn't enjoy a lot. Was it at Arsenal?
No.
Damn.
He's I would say he's a United legend.
United legend.
Yeah. One of the top defenders. And he had this look.
Wow. I would have said Fellaini, but that's not Fellaini.
That is not Fellaini.
Wow, that's one I probably.
Any United defenders you can guess?
Oh man, I think
Who are not there now? Maybe he's I would say he's a pundit now. Sports
Ooh.
pundit.
Nah, can't recollect this one.
Rio Ferdinand.
No way.
Yeah.
This is Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Man. Oh wow, this
is the last one.
That's a Croatian player. I recognize the
Right
flag
on.
and the hairstyle. I remember this one, but I can't recollect the player for the was for the World Cup. I
He
assume.
was in the Prem recently, playing for Tottenham. Plays on the wings. He's also played for Inter Milan.
Oh wow.
That made a switch to Tottenham.
I know it ends with a witch or an
Definitely has to.
But
Ivan Perisic.
Oh, it's Perisic, isn't it? Yeah. Crazy.
Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. Just moving to the last few things that we have on our plate. You worked with so many players, athletes, right? You've been in the business for a long time. If someone's listening to you, what are Prathamesh's learnings professionally and personally in life that you'd want to share with everybody?
Wow. I think working with the players specifically, right? There's so much of mentality change that has come about.
Yeah.
Working so closely, I've seen the kind of effort, hard work, persistence, consistency that goes into doing what these players do day in and out.
Yeah.
I think that's inspired me a lot to have the work ethic I have. I think I hold hard work to the highest point, right? Like I don't see a replacement for hard work in anyone's career in whatever form they tend to do. If you want to excel, I mean, the only way success comes is through hard work. That's like a personal and profession with anything I do. Even if I'm working or if I'm playing or my family commitments, everything goes to the fact that you've got to put in the effort.
Yeah.
And that's the only way of doing things right.
In life, in general.
In general.
You also mentioned about there is no escape or there is no alternate route to success. But if I had to ask you, what does success mean to you?
Oh wow, that's changed over the years. I feel, right.
Nice.
Like, initially, success meant to be famous.
Yeah.
Right? Like I wanted to be, I don't know, country famous, world famous.
Yeah.
But slowly it evolved to being a day at a time, right? A client at a time.
Wow.
Like success today feels like if you've just if the client or a person in a chair just walks out feeling good about themselves, it means success to you. It's
Nice.
because you're the one who's made them feel that way.
Hmm.
So I think it's small wins now. Success basically means every other day you feel accomplished
Hmm.
about something. I think that's how I would take it, making sure day on day, short-term goals and then the long-term goals are being worked towards. And when you complete those, uh, working with a certain specific person,
Hmm.
very recently, I think I would touch upon Divine, right? I think that's success to me. It's someone I've worked towards wanting to work with.
Yeah.
I shared on my Instagram. There's a DM I sent Vivian back in 2017, 13 Jan 2017, saying that I love his work and I listen to his music, of course.
And that
I
plays
would
at your
love to
store
work.
also now.
Yeah, all the time. It all the time does. And 12 Jan 2025, he was at Nomad Barber Mumbai.
Wow.
So it's a full circle. I think there's no escape doing what you do. You gotta work towards your goals, and you anything you set your mind to, you can achieve. So yeah.
Does Prathamesh have a certain line that he goes to always? Do you have something that really pumps you up in life, or something that you follow, or anything
I
of that
think
sort?
it's more like I think I've there's something I've read and it sticks, a lot that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Hmm.
I've seen this in my life where I've said this before that I might not be the best hair cutter out there or I'm not the best fader out there, but then it's accumulation of all the things I do put together makes me do what I do or
Yeah.
makes me special in what I do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's purely hard work.
Yeah.
You could have the talent, but if you didn't put the hard work into that talent, the talent is not going to go a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
And
gotta.
what's the best advice that you've ever been given?
Wow. I think it's an inspiration comes extremely fresh from a Central C song from the new album which was just released. He says time is free, but somehow it's priceless.
Wow.
Right. It means so much, right? Like we on the day to day we just look at ourselves like,
Yeah.
going through time, we see ourselves like, oh, a year has passed. Somehow everything moves so quickly, but what you do with the time is so important.
Correct.
That's on a professional as well as on a personal level, right?
Correct.
We always think about how much there is to do, but there's so little time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to make sure you utilize your time for the right things, for accomplishing your goals, spending time with family. I had very recently a baby girl 6 months ago with my wife. So spending time wisely for me, I think I see it very differently now. I've accomplished, I would say, somewhat part of my life in terms of professional front, but now I think the focus is to balance the family life as well as the professional one. So yeah, I think that's something which struck by me. Yeah. Time is free, but somehow priceless. It's true.
I think that is something that we'll keep, and the audience that are watching will also
Yeah.
keep. While we want to keep all of this like a proper sports show, like a sports podcast, we've also seen you move into the celebrity side of it. Like we've seen you indulge with big names like Divine, Raj Shamani, Sharan Negde, Anuv Jain, for that matter. You also love music yourself. I think
course.
Marvin Garrix, if I'm not wrong, right? So just help us understand the difference in personalities. What is that side of the world look like when it comes to entertainment?
Right.
Just being a little away from sport. How are these individuals like? How have you mixed around with them?
I think it started off with football, of course, clearly, and then we panned on to doing different aspects of creators, podcasters. We have music artists, DJs, YouTubers, all of it now. It's different with everyone, and what's the beauty of this is we've all attracted all of these artists and the creators, the talents organically. they've all loved the work we do, and somehow they share the passion of what I have for hairdressing with what they do with their work as well.
Yeah.
That's how we relate with all of them. So, yeah, of course, we've had Raj Shamani, we've had music stalwarts. Like we have creators like Just Neil Things,
Correct.
Finance with Sharon. Sharon is one of our clients. Divine being one of the top from the
Music
music
industry.
industries. We've had Zayden, Anuj Jain. Football has seen, of course, the top of the top. I've worked with David James
Yeah.
fairly recently. We've had legend like Don Hutchinson at the shop,
Yeah.
the Liverpool legend who was
Correct.
on the TV as well. Fairly recently, we worked with Martin Garrix as well. This was for one of the podcasts he did with Raj.
Yeah.
That was one. I think there's a very massive one which I can't name today. So
Is
world
it
famous.
is it in the works?
It's been done. It's just that we can't. It's confidential at the moment. We can't reveal
Hopefully
it.
by the time it's revealed,
I
and
mean,
we
yeah,
put this out,
it's a massive.
leave it in the comment section for people to.
People could guess it's one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hint. That's the hint. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great going. Firstly, I want to say thank you to you, for getting all in, giving us insights about, Chetri Bhai, about the sport, for being a sport yourself, to share, some numbers as well,
Yeah.
as to if someone's looking to get into this industry, what really they should expect. While we want to establish, this for everyone in the sports field, we, weren't really sure if there is someone who's been in this scene before. Now, probably because you've come here, spoken to us, there will be many more who are probably doing this, but haven't achieved what you have, in the last 10, 12 years that you've been in the scene. So, thank you once again. Thanks for
Appreciate it,
being
man.
with us. Hopefully, see you with a lot more cricketers, like you mentioned. But
Would love
don't leave Indian football.
Indian football for life.
While it does grow, we'd also want you to, maybe do the big names, maybe a
course.
Ronaldo coming in, or the Messi.
Someday,
While Messi is coming this year to India.
I hear that.
So,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
try-
stay on top of that. We'll stay on top of that. Hopefully, Messi gives us a call.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man, and appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.